Today, I'd like to tell you a story about Joash, the boy king. What does a king do? Yes? He walks around. Yes? He sits on a king chair. What else does a king do? Yes?
And he gets some tea for his to drink.
Something to drink, that's right, and eat too. The kings like that. He has a royal table. That sounds delicious, doesn't it? Lots of lovely food. Okay, so a king has also some very important jobs like ruling the country or the kingdom. In the olden times, a country was often called a kingdom. Okay, and God has given him some special responsibilities. A good king, if you are a good king, what would you do? You would love God, wouldn't you? You would love God and you would love his laws and you would love to teach people about his laws. Well, today I'd like to show you some pictures. So I'd like you to watch the pictures quietly, okay? I have to find out how this works. Maybe you might have to help me. Okay. Oops, I skipped one. Oh, what did I do? I pressed too hard, I think. Okay. All right. So when Joash was born, there was a lot of trouble in the kingdom of Judah. You know that his father was killed in the war? Did you know? The enemies killed his father. And then a wicked, wicked queen, she killed all his family. How terrible. What a terrible thing to happen to little Joash. But he didn't know about it because Joash was just a little baby. And he was rescued by a very wise auntie. Do you know her name? Her name was quite hard to pronounce. It was Jehosheba. Is that right, folk? Jehosheba. And she took him to a safe place. And you wouldn't guess what this place was. It was the church. She hid him in a church. But in those days, it was called the temple. And there in the temple, he would spend his days. But sorry, I'm pressing it too hard, I think. But when all the worshippers had gone, his uncle Jehoiada, who was a high priest, would take him for a walk outside. And look, what do you think he's pointing at? He's pointing at some broken walls. Somebody has been stealing the bricks. Doesn't that look terrible? And these are the walls around the holy temple of God. So, Uncle Jehoiada loved God. He was a very good high priest, and every day he taught Joash to read the law of God from a scroll. You know how you read from a book? Well, they didn't have books in those days. Can you see how their pages roll up like a scroll? And Joash loved to read God's words, and he loved God. Then the day came. Joash had a birthday. Do you know how old he was? Yes? Not quite. He was only 7 years old. But you know, the people did not like their queen so much, and they were waiting for Joash to grow up. and he just couldn't grow up fast enough. But he was such a wise young boy that,
I'm only 6 years old by now.
wow, I hope you're as wise as Joash was. Do you love reading God's books? Yes, good girl, good choice. Okay, so when Joash had his 7th birthday, Uncle Jehoiada took him by the hand and led him out on the temple porch, where there were many, many people, soldiers, guards, singers and musicians, all waiting quietly for the boy king. Uncle Jehoiada placed a scroll in Joash's hand and a crown on his head. And anointed him with a sweet-smelling oil on his head. He anointed Joash king of Judah, the kingdom of Judah, a little boy, 7 years old, who loved Jesus and was a wise person. The people started to cheer and clap hands and sing songs of praise to God. Long live the King, long live the King, they called. As young King Joash sat on his throne, he made a promise to be loyal to God and to his people. As King Joash grew a little bit older, he remembered the ruined walls of God's temple and wanted to fix them up. He wanted to restore them and the temple to honour God. But there was no money to pay for this work to be done, to buy new bricks and vessels for the sanctuary. So King Joash had a very clever idea. The carpenters found he would ask his people to help him. The carpenter found a big wooden chest and drilled a hole in the lid. Do you know what that was for? Yes? That's it, yes. The chest was then put near the temple gate, so anybody who walked past the gate could see the big chest with the little hole in the lid. And people were asked to give coins and gifts towards fixing up God's beautiful temple and the walls. So many people came with their gold and silver coins, poor people and rich people. Everyone wanted to help repair God's holy temple. And when the temple work was finished, King Joash called his people together to thank them for their help. And they all sang praises to God. Can you just imagine how happy everybody was to have a beautiful temple to worship in? Girls and boys, I want you to look around our church today. Do you think we have a beautiful temple to worship in? Yes, we do. Look how comfortable we are. We have such comfortable chairs and lovely carpet, and I have a microphone so you can hear me, and you've got pictures up on the wall. We are so blessed, aren't we? Did you know that God helped us build this temple? We asked for help, and just like King Joash, when we were asked to help, we donated money. Your mums and dads worked very hard. And visiting people worked very hard. They came and helped us build this beautiful church. So remember to look after it, just like King Joash looked after the holy temple. Keep it beautiful. Come and clean it. When we're asked to come and clean, come and help. Pull out some weeds and clean some windows. And be a helper. Always be ready to obey God. And God will bless you and your family and your church family. Thank you for listening. I have a picture here for you to colour if you'd like one.